So I decided to do both a PowerPoint and a video for my project. I just thought doing a video at the end might go in more into depth, or if you can't really see the images I put on my PowerPoint, so that I would just read them, just in case it's hard to see. Marie, sorry. So yeah, so some of the stuff all of my stuff is on my slides. Some of the stuff that are on my paper is on my slides but not on the paper, so some stuff I'll say and some stuff I won't. But yeah, so for step one, that's just my article source, and that is the link and the little screenshot of from an article are on my PowerPoint. Step two, a majority of shoppers in Target are female. Step three, I am testing a claim about a value of a population proportion from chapter 8. Step four, they're all my requirements. There are 3 requirements, and I listed them as assume or met. There's just a lot to write out on there, so I am just going to leave that for the PowerPoint. Then step 5 is just stating my hypothesis. And so my null hypothesis, p equals 0.50, and my alternative hypothesis is p is greater than 0.50, and that is my claim. And then step 6 goes into my raw data. So I just put my title, so shoppers in Target, and then I went to a Target on the south side, Target in Urbandale, and Target in West Des Moines, and I went to those Target on 3 different days at 3 different times and got all my data. So the total altogether is 275, and my total females is 156. So then, Marvy, go lay down, buddy. So then it goes into step 7, which is the test. So for letter A, it is a convenient sample. So the reason why that is because I went to 3 different Targets on 3 different days at 3 different times for 30 minutes each, and walked the store and counted how many females I saw and how many males I saw. And I'm not gonna lie, it was the slowest walk I have ever done in my entire life. I just did 1 lap around the whole Target, but I walked super slow and made sure I looked up and down every single aisle, every single aisle. And I found that the grocery, so the super Targets were more busy because of the grocery store added into them. And then for B, my sample size, N equals 275. And then C, my significance level, alpha equals 0.01. And then I did my test statistic. So actually I'll just flip the camera around here just so I can show you. Let it focus. So I did my test statistic. Hurry! So this is the formula for the test statistic, and then here's the data that goes into it. I had to find p hat, and yeah, so that's my test statistic. And then it goes into the critical value. So it was 0.01, so this is 0.99, and that's my critical value, 2.33. And then it goes into the p-value. So since it was a population of proportion, it was easier to find the p-value. But since it's a right-tailed test, I had to take my area and subtract it from 1 to get my p-value. And then I kind of did the conclusion. So since the test statistic was less than the critical value and the p-value is greater than alpha, it's failed to reject at a 99% confidence level. And then it goes into the confidence interval limits. And so I split it into 2 because it's always 2-tail. The critical value is the same. And then the formula, I did that, the formula for it, that was my margin of error. And then I had to take p hat minus margin of error and p hat plus margin of error to get the lower and upper limits. And then it goes into my conclusions. So they're all failed to reject. So failed to reject for H, failed to reject HO, there is not sufficient sample evidence to support the claim that the majority of target shoppers are female. For I, failed to reject HO, there is not sufficient sample evidence to support the claim that majority of target shoppers are female. Then it goes into J, failed to reject HO, there is not sufficient sample evidence to support the claim that the majority of target shoppers are female. K, based on my 3 statistical tests, it appears that the claim is not supported. And then lastly, L, in conclusion, the source was refuted because the results were pretty close together, but if I were to rerun the test at a different significance level, I would get a different result. Anyways, so yeah, I just thought doing a video at the end might go a little bit more in depth, or if you can't see the images on my slides, it might be a little better if I spoke it out and like went up close with the video. So yeah, that's all I have for my project.